Well, you don't know what happens. You might be asked to leave, right?
You could be escorted out. You could be escorted out with boxes of stuff.
Why am I applying? I should be fucking trying to do other jobs. Applying for that. We could talk about Google, the big splash they made this
Quantum.
Yeah, Willow is a new chip.
So stupid. Oh my
God. Well, a lot of people took this and it's like, man, Bitcoin's going to be broken. And
sure looks like it on the price. The price sure says that, doesn't it? A lot of people worried about that, huh?
A lot of. I'm wondering, are these drones in the States running quantum computing chips? I'd love to know because they seem to be. Yeah, because they're evading everything, bullets and everything else. So maybe that's it, Joey. The way you're doing that, you may want to move the camera down to show what the fuck you're doing.
No. So anyway, I'm just excited about quantum. Listen, this Willow thing, like listening to All In the other day, which by the way is going to completely fall off now that Sachs is not on it every week. I hope he makes his return. But Chamath, who come on, talking about how he's one of the smartest guys in the room all the time. My God. I missed my next meeting as soon as I heard about the quantum thing because I wanted to check to see if it could break Bitcoin. Chamath, we're going to be fine. We can put in quantum resistant hash algorithms or whatever we want to do. It's not a big deal. I would also note for people who are saying, oh, this is finally going to break Bitcoin. Listen, if SHA-256 breaks, okay, this is the encryption standard for everything, banks, weapons, you name it. This is what everybody uses. If it breaks, Bitcoin's going to be the least of your worries, least of my worries. The same way that people are like, oh, well, what if the government shuts off electricity and the internet? What are you going to do with your Bitcoin then? Like, buddy, if they do that, Bitcoin's going to be the last thing on my mind. Okay. I'm not worried about that. If that happens, yeah, Bitcoin will have lost, but we have much bigger fish to fry if that's the case. We're talking armed rebellion. Okay. When this Willow thing came out, a lot of people talking about how this is innovative and it's first of its kind. But it's only one chip, I understand, or one virtual qubit. And to break the Bitcoin algo,
the output.
Yeah, so it's only one qubit or something like that. To break the algo, the hashing algorithm for Bitcoin, you need thousands of these things. Is that what I'm understanding? Now, I understand that those...
And you can't change these things.
No, and those curves... Don't get me wrong. I understand that the difference between 0 and 1 is not going to be the same as this between 1 and 1,000. There could be 1,000 of these things in 2 years or something like that, even though it took us, 2,000 years to do it this far. But I really am not concerned about this at all. I think
what's interesting, Joey? Yeah. Like the fact that this came out, they came out with this Willow chip and the announcement did.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering if there's any correlation between this and the fact that the Department of Justice is going after Google and going to say, look, you guys might have to sell Chrome because it's a monopolistic offering you have. Now, if Google says, look, we have this chip here and it can fucking break all this shit. And who knows, we may want to sell it to foreign governments. And so I'm wondering if they're using this as a ploy.
So I don't know.
With the DOJ, we could fuck with you later on, but it may not even exist.
I don't know, but I will say that the one thing I did think that the All-In guys came up with that was good. And it's more articulate than I could have been with it. When you talk about things like antitrust and governments trying to make sure that no one gets too far ahead of someone else and they don't want everyone to get all the wins, like the government is so fucking far behind the 8 ball that they're talking about whether or not you should be able to have the Chrome browser on an Android phone. When at Google, they're building quantum chips. Like talk about not even in the ballpark, okay? When you see antitrust hearings and politicians who have been in government longer than you and I have been alive asking questions about the browser on your phone, while in the background, Google is breaking encryption methods that are used for nuclear weapons, these people are not competent. Not only are they not competent, but things are getting away from them. Len, do you know where this is written?
Or what is written?
This idea that governments are going to get so far behind and start doing all the wrong things while companies become the sovereign individual. It's in there. This exact scenario almost is in there.
So
that governments will try and shut down things in certain companies or in certain silos. But by the time they're even able to identify there's a problem, the problem will have completely shapeshifted into something else. and be just impossible to contain. This is a good example of this.
What is
Perfect
Google? If you had to in a big pie, 100%, what do you think their ad revenue makes up in terms of your overall revenue? I'm talking
45%,
80%.
Wow, 80%.
The last I checked.
That's
so,
okay.
And if you look at Google, Chrome, that it's feeding a lot of that data to the mothership.
Yeah, no
and I'm not trying to justify this, but I'm saying if somehow they were forced to separate that from their product, their ad revenue is going to take a beating over the long term because they're not going to have all that information coming in, knowing what people are searching for, giving a digital fingerprint for everybody, and then feeding them shit that they want to see in terms of targeted ads.
Yeah,
that could hurt their bottom line in the long run.
It could,
especially as long as things remain the way they are right now.
It could, but like if you have the quantum chip, like how much do you care about ad rev on your bottom line anymore? At that point?
The question is does it exist, and is it something that is using as a ploy to say, like,
other thing, right? Like,
I'd love to know.
You actually can't prove the thing exists without having another one to check the math. Let me get a couple of joints. Can I get a couple of joints going? You want to smoke a joint? We'll talk about it. This is pretty close to like high hash rate territory here.
Well, fuck. Do you know that show is on hiatus?
Why?
Yeah, so they're just getting really busy, both Mike and Dan. So for the time being, there are some shows that's in the bank and they're going to be released, but once they run dry, it's, I'm not sure what's going to happen moving forward. At the very least, it's been put on ice, that show.
Why don't they do rotating guests? Like our rotating host, like I'll host one and I'll talk to somebody about some cosmic shit if they want.
But you have to get fucking just.
I mean, I don't know if I'll get. I suck at getting high. I would have a couple of beers.
And it ain't the high hash rate if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Right? It's just this show, but on a different fucking platform. It's just the same old shit, right? Which is good, but like, if you want to be something different. I just want to say, the high hash rate, it sucks.
We wish Dana Mike the best.
Yeah, we do. And also, I wish Microsoft shareholders the best because they have voted that they want to have fun staying core moving forward. There was a vote last week for shareholders, December 11th, I believe it was. It was a proposal entitled The Assessment of Investing in Bitcoin. And so all shareholders out there decided to cast their ballot, or at least the ones that did decide to cast their ballot. In favor was only 0.55%.
Brutal.
So it's close to them 100% don't want it. And from what I gathered, the proposal was apparently submitted by the National Center for Public Policy Research. Never heard of them before, but apparently they're the ones that submitted the proposal. So yeah, good for them. I mean, a couple of Bitcoiners a week, or maybe a bunch of Bitcoiners a week.
How did they get that through? I thought those proposals had to be voted on by board members.
I have no.
And then it goes to the shareholders. Yeah, I don't.
This is a fiat world thing. I have no clue, and I'm gonna just gloss over.
0.55% is so low. That's like almost embarrassingly low. So in Microsoft's defense, they do say, they noted in their disclosures that they are always considering different treasury assets. And so there's really no need for them to, especially consider Bitcoin or whatever, which, okay. But
they accepted Bitcoin between 2014 and 2018. So they understand it's a medium of exchange.
They understood it. They understood it early. And it's hard for me to imagine now that with all this other stuff going on, BlackRock even last week, today's Monday, so it could have been earlier this week, last week. God, time is flying by. Saying that like a 2% or to 5% allocation is really rational for almost anybody of any size, in any investor, any hedge fund, like 2%.
Why didn't BlackRock vote on this to say yes? I
don't know. I don't know how the proxy votes work. I'm not sure how they work. Like, do all the, because I own Microsoft shares individual and in ETFs.
Okay. So I was just going to ask you this question. You know exactly where I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay. I was hoping you did.
I got one voters package. I didn't vote, but I got one voters package, and it just doesn't say anything. It doesn't say how many votes I have. Doesn't say fuck all. Just had all the list of proposals that we were voting on. So,
Vanguard and BlackRock combined, they own 16% of the outstanding float for Microsoft. That's
they own.
But in terms of
they don't own it, but like they
own it on behalf of
people. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to know. Like, can they vote?
Not your shares, not your votes. Not your shares, not your votes.
Right? So, okay. Well, MicroStrategy looks like they entered the walled gardens of the.
I love this story. I love this story.
Cute.
Let me just change my tag here. Please continue reading the headline.
Well, also FSAB rules are now applicable, or they're going to be applicable in the next few days or something like that. This is more your jam, Joey. So you know what? I'm going to just fucking tee it up for you. It's all yours.
I love this. MSTR.
Right in the middle fairway.
I think Saylor could be a spook. I don't really care. I think he is running out of ways to express his ideas. He's like really running low on Bronze Age parables to talk about why he thinks diluting his company for Bitcoin is a good idea. It's easy, Mike. Don't mid-curve it. You know, Bitcoin is good. The more Bitcoin you have, the better.
What's after Bronze Age? Is it Iron Age after that?
I guess depends on which Age of Empires you're playing. I think that if you or maybe Feudal Age is next in a lot of Age of Empires games. So anyway, I think the thing to keep in mind with MSTR is that they're on the queues. The S&P is the big one. I think that could come in 25, and then the fair accounting rules is coming in Q1 25 for sure. And every company is going to benefit from that, but MSTR maybe more than others because they have all this Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Now, I think that he's taking a lot of shit, let's say, from mainstream media personalities. He goes on TV and gets it pretty good now all the time from everyone not named Joe Kernan. And I think it's because he's over the target in a lot of ways, but I also think it's because people, the normie brain can't really wrap their head around some of the stuff he's saying. Shit, even I can't do it some of the time. I have to listen to it twice to really like try and get my head around it. But at the end of the day, he's found the glitch. He's in the passives now. And I don't see how this doesn't continue for at least a little while longer, because the money coming into MSTR is now coming in without anyone thinking about it or being judicious about the flows. People who buy the queues every week or every 2 weeks are buying MSTR now. Pensions have MSTR. You know, what else can you really say? That's a big win. And
how is the distribution of the holdings done? Is it based on market cap? So the highest market cap gets the highest allocation.
Yes.
So as it just like and it slid in, it's now going to probably get the smallest percentage right now. But as the
percentage is available, the percentage is available somewhere. Eric Balchunas,
I would imagine so. Again, this is a fiat thing. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, I just buy my corner. That's it. I find for me, it's the easiest thing. I can understand that, and I don't have to think about anything else. And I have control of my
Trudeau is live right now. Trudeau is live right now at a Liberal Party fundraiser at the Laurier Club.
So he's not giving anything new there. He's just basically raising money for an election, right?
Shit, I don't know. Anyway, the MSTR thing. Other big thing, market cap is important because when you start talking about fair accounting rules, you may be able to drive your market cap up a little bit as people appreciate more the balance sheet strategy. And that leads to more. I mean, you can figure out the flywheel for yourself here. I won't repeat it. I've said it on the show before, as of some of our guests. It's another win, I think. And you can agree or disagree with MSTR. I mean, we're in a couple of pretty passionate chats where people talk about MSTR basically all the time. There's no better way, I don't think, to get Bitcoin exposure in a tax advantaged account at this point. It's better than iBit. It's better than Coinbase. Yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have to say. What else is there? What else is there to say about this? Saylor got it right so far, and I hope he continues to get it right. You know,
like I said, I wish them the best. I hope success for both he and MicroStrategy. I don't want to see either of the two fail. I will always go back to it. I wish they held their own keys, but other than that, I wish them the much success as they could get. I don't want to see them fail. That's basically it. And I'm not a holder of and I have no exposure to them whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, if they fail or not doesn't impact me. I just don't want to see them fail.
Yeah.
But Vancouver, they passed a motion to make the city Bitcoin friendly.
Love it. And they're looking at investing as a treasury asset.
So first off, the mayor is actually donating his family. He and a family are donating $10,000 worth of Bitcoin to the city. That's the initial. Here you go.
Talk about putting your money where your mouth is, eh?
Yeah,
good for him. Mayor Kim, I think, right?
Yeah, Ken Sim. Sorry, that's his name.
Sim. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, so you're gonna get a lot of. Remember, this is in BC, and it leans a particular way on a Canadian political spectrum. So you're gonna hear a lot of, there's an environmental impact from Bitcoin, and plus organized crime may be using
these people
it,
they are addicted to losing. These people, they have an itch, and the only thing that's going to satisfy their Jones is just more public losing. That's the only thing that will satisfy them.
So somebody's asking, how much is that in? So 10,000, it's 660,000.
Nice.
Nice. No, my bad. Yeah, it's 66,000 sats. That's it.
No, gotta be more than that.
Yeah. So like it's fuck like in every day.
How many is it? Do we get the number here? What's going on?
No, it's oh, my bad. 6.6 million. My bad.
6.6 million. Okay, I was gonna say. Holy fuck.
That number, I remember like putting like $100 and getting way more.
Same.
Like I'm just like I'm
Buddy, last year, how many times did we? Like, I won't speak for you, but like the number of times I went to the post office and bought 1 million sats, like, and now
all those
just not feasible.
You can't
carry that much cash.
For anybody wondering, I only went once. And it was a great experience, and it was. I dropped a 20. On that, so I got like
just to try it out. Just wanted to try the product for this.
Just wanted to give it a shot. Yeah, dude, it's a great product. Too bad, and they resolved the strike right now. So not resolved. Sorry, forcibly resolved.
Yeah, mandated. Get back to work, you slouch.
What a fucking. Anyways, back to this. The city is like Vancouver. Keep in mind, they want to start taking in Bitcoin as for payments, but also invest it, like put money and invest it. Yes. The city has a projected deficit of $43 million for 2025.
Cool.
So they're going to be in debt, according to this, by $43 million. Where they're going to get this money to buy Bitcoin, I don't know. And
why don't they sell fentanyl?
They probably already do.
Bitcoin. I know, and they're not using it to buy Bitcoin. They're using it to sell more fentanyl. They sell fentanyl and then yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know.
So they have an operating budget of $2.3 billion.
Yeah.
So of that $2.3 billion, it's not enough for them to meet all the obligations. They still are $43 million in the hole. So what I'm trying to get at is, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to allocate anything to Bitcoin. They don't have a money printer there, so they have to rely on a province. And the province, whatever. Scott Deedles was there. I'm not sure if you saw this, but he was there.
I did. I retweeted his little address there. It's great, man. Like I said, Scott did a good job in the 3 minutes he had, I thought.
And he on the show. He was on the show. He replaced you temporarily.
He co-hosted. Yeah, we gave him a big thanks last week. I mean, look, man, Deeds is turning out to be a really great Bitcoiner. And, they didn't get much time to speak. There's a few other people who are friendly to the show or friendly to me on Twitter that I listened to during that little the chance they got to speak to the council. And I thought there was a couple of good points by Scott, especially like, no one's asking you to do anything crazy here. We're just asking you to save in a currency that's not meant to fail at saving. Like that is exactly what Bitcoin is. Like, I'm not asking you to do anything nuts. I'm just asking you to put your savings into a vehicle that's not meant to decay while it's being held. Like that's all I'm asking you to do. That's it.
And he is 100% right. But that's why I was talking about the fact that they have a deficit projected for this year. It's like you went to a homeless guy and saying you should buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah,
it makes sense. But where the fuck are you gonna get money? That's why they have to do something with their finances.
The same place that the guys who are getting sued over encampments will get the money. Maybe there's like a secret
$10,000. Like, I don't understand how they could do this. I know it's not a Bitcoin story, but like that to me, it just doesn't make sense.
Ontario is suing or threatening to fine encampment residents with $10,000 fines. I'll tell you where they're going to get it. Here in Hamilton, we just had an encampment raided because there was reports that turned out to be accurate of an underground tunnel network and fentanyl trafficking operation.
Was that a Gage Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well,
cool. Are you telling me that the guy who is in the tent and building reinforced tunnels can't find a job at Tim Hortons? Is that the case you're making to me?
Here's the bigger one. They could build those tunnels with just their fucking fingernails in there. But if you go to Toronto, it's $1 billion per kilometer for the subway. You could just give them the contract. They don't even need fucking tools. You say, this is what I need. I'll give you a diet. You just draw it on a fucking napkin. You come back in a couple of days, it's fucking done.
Here's a spoon and a bottle of water. I'll be back next week.
And I'll give you all the fentanyl you want, buddy. It's buried in there. Keep thinking you'll find it. And you'll see a fucking tunnel built. It'll be fucking magnificent.
God, what a mess. What a mess.
So I don't understand how they're going to get this $10,000 per individual. I don't want to paint everybody in a fucking one brush. But I don't think people want to be homeless living in a fucking tent. Maybe some do, but I think it's a small minority.
I don't know.
Because they're there because they don't fucking have. And if you don't have, you can't take from somebody that has.
I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do with the encampments. But anyway, let's go back to Bitcoin stories. It is a good story. If you haven't seen it, go look it up.
That's the beauty
Ontario,
of the story.
Yeah, Ontario fining encampment residents.
Did you hear about this Australian pension fund called AMP? And they put in $27 billion into Bitcoin, and they acquired Bitcoin somewhere between the $60,000 to $70,000 range. So you can kind of figure out when
they're up big.
They did it. Big. Yeah, they're quite a bit. And the assets under management for this pension fund is $74 billion. And this makes them around the 11th largest pension fund in Australia by assets under management. I did some searching. I could not find the answer if indeed they hold their own keys or use a third party, or even worse, hold a Bitcoin ETF. But either way, they have allocated a small portion of their overall wealth into Bitcoin. Keep in mind, pensions, they have no appetite for volatility. No. So when you see more pensions like this, and this is not the only one, there's been others. Wisconsin comes to mind. There's been several others. To me, that's a very bullish indicator of Bitcoin, because if you got these people and they're all in the bonds, they're on this shit like that, and they say, let's buy a little bit of Bitcoin. I like that. That's fucking
100%. Like the idea that they'd even go down that road is big. Yeah. And so like when people say that Bitcoin's too risky, here's the thing to consider. You as a normie investor, retarded if you think it's too risky. A pension,
they're very regarded. I just want to very regarded.
A pension. Do you know how much inertia going the other way, away from Bitcoin, has to be overcome for a pension to say, yeah, we got to buy like tens of billions of dollars worth of this asset now. We're not dollar cost averaging in. We're not buying 10 million today, 10 million next week, 10 million next month. We're not going to review the strategy every time we use it. No. These guys are overcoming incredible amounts of institutional incompetence when it comes to whether or not they should buy Bitcoin. They're overcoming incredible amounts of institutional aversion to anything that moves more than 1% a day. And yet here they are buying it. But you, the normie investor, think it's too volatile. Okay.
It is.
All right. You think it's too much? Okay, good. What's your idea? You got any ideas? I don't think so. Give me a fucking break, man. What are we talking about, normie investors?
What I have to say is they bought like a decent amount. They put 27 million.
That's a huge chunk. Yeah,
it's a decent. Yeah. And anybody that has control of some money, you should put even a small, even $1,000,
$2 to 5%.
Well, 2 to 5 would be wonderful, but even like just put $1,000 just to figure it out and learn how to use it, self custody, and it just gives you exposure to it, and you could kind of then start following it and understanding.
I gave my brother $20 in Bitcoin on Coinbase in 2017, and the price of Bitcoin was probably like $5,000 then. So what's it worth now? I wonder if does he even remember that? Could he even sign into his Coinbase account if he tried? I don't know. He probably could.
Yeah.
It's probably sitting there.
Coinbase, say what you want about them, but if you have an account with them, they don't.
It's yours. Yeah, it's yours.
It should be. Yeah. You hear all these talk about them locking accounts out, but I don't think your brother would be in that situation. So fuck yeah, I'd still be there and encourage him to take it off. So rather than keeping on the exchange. But yeah, there's got to be a lot of pressure to not buy Bitcoin from these pension plans, and they're doing it. And there's more of them doing it. Like, I can't think of anything that gives even more friction besides me watching WNBA. Other than that, that's basically it. But we can move on. Let's talk about the state of Texas. And there's a Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act. and they're talking about adding Bitcoin as a part of their treasury. And this whole ordeal is they want to hold Bitcoin for at least 5 years. So they want to cover one full cycle and
Plus a bit
more.
more. Yeah, it's
It
great.
just seems that's odd. 5 years. I would say 4 years, because if you kind of look at the cycle, that fifth year sometimes goes down. If you give it in the fourth, at least you could give the option. You could say, I want to pull out, and it's up to you. But the fifth year, I don't know. It just seemed kind of
I
odd
think
to me.
that
But
the cycles thing is good, but I think the thing to keep in mind is that the more time you're forced to hold, the more time you get for education, right? That's the thing I think is important. And I'm not 100% sure that you're going to see, again, we may disagree on this, but the same volatility and drawdown that you used to see in Bitcoin, like it's not going to be 80%, I don't think, anymore. It's hard for me to imagine that that's the case.
you
Those
never
are
know.
famous last words, I know, but
Never know.
I like the extended period of time for education more than anything else. Keep talking to people, keep explaining it. Another year worth of examples why it's important. Another year worth of debasement. Another year worth of all these things. Right? Let's keep on that, and let's make sure people know what they're invested in, and not sell just because the price hits a high. That's I think I mean, it's a more optimistic way to look at it, not necessarily what they're doing, but I think that's a reasonable side effect or secondary outcome of a policy like that.
How disappointed would you be if they bought it and put it on like a passport or something like that?
Oh God, that foundation passport announcement today. Just
do you want to like
I don't know who is partnered with Passport? Like what shows, what podcasts? Like you have to look at Passport and think like these guys like hyped up an announcement and basically just, oh my God, my laptop just froze. These guys made an announcement. Yeah. These guys made an announcement, and it was just that they're basically outsourcing security to secondary software developers for wallets, and going to expand the quote unquote support surface for the devices, which also obviously increases the attack surface. Just completely ridiculous. Terrible decision. But like NVK said, I think it was NVK that said it, this is a symptom of a company that claims to be Bitcoin only, claims to be best in class, claims to be all these things, not being able to make a dent in the Bitcoin only market. And so what do you have to do? You have to adopt garbage.
What did they adopt? Do you know what?
I think the first thing is Cake Wallet. So that's Monero, maybe among other products. But yeah, there's a few things I saw the CEO or whatever tweeting today. And actually he responded to a friend of the show, Praveen, on one of his tweets. And Praveen made the case that like, this is the dumbest idea you guys have ever had. It's so insecure. Insecure, probably some combination of the two. But anyway,
it's both of them. I fucking it's just
it's not good. It's not good for sure. Yeah. If you're a Bitcoin podcast and you're partnered with a hardware wallet that's not CoinKite, I need to know why. Like what hardware devices are doing things better than CoinKite? You could make the case that CoinKite is not the most user friendly. I would accept that. But you can't tell me that CoinKite and Foundation are so vastly different in their approach to new users that it's fine to have Passport as a sponsor instead of CoinKite. You can make the case to me that the block hardware wallet that's like Bluetooth enabled and multi-sig by default and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's not great because
is it called BitKey or something?
BitKey, yeah. Bitstone or BitKey. It looks like a stone. But anyway, like you can make the case to me that that's a good wallet for beginners. And so it serves a market that maybe CoinKite doesn't serve, but Foundation does not have that benefit. And by the way, the difference is that BitKey is also Bitcoin only. Like why would you be driving people to products that are so inferior that they can't make a dent in the Bitcoin market, and they have to prey on people who know less about finances, less about crypto, end up in garbage tokens, et cetera, et cetera. Like you can't, and I don't often go at content creators on this show because we don't need to, but like that's a mistake, man. It's a mistake to do that.
There's one wallet device that you could build with your own Raspberry Pi, and I forget the name of it, but apparently it's not bad. Like it's a good alternative to Coldcard, and I'm sorry for not remembering the name.
Oh, the Seed Signer.
That's it. Yes, good.
That's
memory.
open source. That's open source.
Yeah.
Like that's,
so that's one that I never tried it, so I'm not
going to either. But people like it, and that's fine. Yeah. It meets your needs because you're part of the engineering process. Great. You verify it, you do all those things. That's what you want. Awesome. But again, Len, it's Bitcoin only.
Yeah.
like there's something to that. And I think people who are missing that, like, I don't,
Does
especially
it have that
the
Haktua
podcasts.
coin?
Fuck.
That's what I want
Don't get me
to know.
started. Yeah, we got to find out. Haktua coin.
Boom Dust is asking me who's my WNBA team.
The Mystics.
I just learned about one name, New York Liberty.
Oh, wow.
If you ask me to name now a second team, I swear to God, I would not be able to name.
Listen,
I have no
my
clue how many
my WNBA team is whatever
Go
team
ahead.
Cameron Brink is on. If you know, you know.
I don't. So I don't even know how many teams are in the league. I have no idea if Canada is even represented. I have no fucking clue. And I'm gonna keep it like that. And it's not just to like I just don't give a fuck. And even
look at D in the chat. You say Bitcoin only, but you're buying a shitcoin stock. Cry harder, you big baby. The MSTR is holding Bitcoin. I know you don't like it. You should have bought some.
They're not holding Bitcoin.
No one cares.
They're not holding Bitcoin though. They buy it and let somebody else do it. So the risk that they borrow the money and then pass on extra risk to their end user or their shareholders by having somebody else hold it. I'm not saying that they're gonna get rugged.
They're accreting. I'm accreting. Anyway, what else is on the docket here? What else we got?
Let's see what we got here. Did you see that somebody was able to take down the whole Doge network?
I did see a little bit of this. A whisper. Yeah. That's great. I love that.
69% of the network. That number is funny, by the way. I don't think it was just 442 nodes in total were taken down. And this is because this guy named Andreas Cole, and he was able to use a vulnerability that was discovered by the researchers Tobias Ruck, and it caused the nodes to crash using something called Doge Reaper vulnerability.
Doge Reaper. Great name.
Doge Reaper. And he was able to do this with an old ThinkPad laptop in El Salvador, and he was able to take down all these nodes. I found that to be pretty funny. Now,
busy over there in El Salvador.
My number, IMF coming in, now they're fucking taking down Doge. It's very busy. Now, not to say that this thing cannot happen to Bitcoin. Certainly, there could always be vulnerabilities in software. Software is always being evolved. They're trying to remove bugs, make it more resistant to shit like this. But I'm just trying to say, like, I think it would be harder just because of the sheer number of nodes and the wide variety of node software that's being run. We talk about quite a bit, but not just the different versions of Core, but you also have knots in there. So, like, I think Bitcoin, just because there's a lot more out there, a lot more different types of nodes being run, I think it gives them a sense of security. Not a sense, it just is more secure compared to something like Doge. Doge, a lot of people like it for what I don't understand.
It's fun. It is. Listen, it's a fun shitcoin. Fine, but like it's a shit. This is what happens when you dabble in shitcoins.
14 million Doge, I believe is the number, is created every day. 14 million Doge.
Do you remember a little while ago during, I think the last run up, maybe like the 69K run up or something like that? Litecoin. No, it wasn't Litecoin. What was it? Ethereum Classic, ETC, not LTC. ETC had a huge run up in price, and people in the Bitcoin space were pointing out that this thing had been, like, the network had been 51% attacked a number of times, and the price was still absolutely ripping. There's just no cure for degeneracy sometimes. Like, people will just buy shit no matter what. We got buddies in like Pepe ETH or ETH Pepe or whatever, and it's like,
I get the charts every so often from the guy.
Yeah,
how's your value in this?
I'm thrilled you made 500% or whatever, but like, you have to, at some point, you have to exit that market. The liquidity is not as good as you want it to be. The likelihood that you top tick is very low, and the candles going down are going to be just as fast as they were.
I think Manny understands that. We talk and
no, I know he does understand it. Manny Monero. We haven't used that word on this podcast. Yeah,
is he still in that? I have to.
Yeah, he is. I saw him the other day. He's in it.
All right, he's still in Monero.
We'll confirm with him later this week.
He's got a new wallet he could use now. You could use that fucking shitty
Cake wallet. That's right.
And apparently there's this new wallet that's going to go live. This company called Exodus, and they have all kinds of shit coins in their wallet. And apparently it's got approval to go live on the New York Stock Exchange. EXOD is the ticker name. The fuck? Now we have wallets that are going to go.
Well, presumably it's going to have a token. Is that why?
Well, they have 1,900 Bitcoin apparently in the reserve. I don't know how they accumulated that much. Maybe they rug customers. I have no fucking clue. How the fuck does a wallet company go live?
It's like just a quick rug. We're claiming this as our own. I love it. I love it.
Well, yeah, it's a great way to just increase valuation. And just I don't know. I don't trust this kind of shit. But it's another one. It's full of shit coins. I never heard of Exodus before.
I mean, bad name too. You know, it's like overused. Good Bible book. I'm pretty sure that's the end times book in the Bible. Is that it? Exodus? I think it is. Or is that Deuteronomy? I forget.
I have no fucking clue.
I don't know.
As you
Good
can tell,
Catholic trivia there. That's it for tonight. We're getting out of here. Thanks for sticking around for Freeland Hour. Thanks for sticking around for the Bitcoin stories. I got to say, man, it's the middle of December. Can you see how many people are watching and listening, Len?
It says 226, but I don't think that's accurate. I think that's more of a reflection.
Looking on Twitter, I think that's everything on Twitter, YouTube. I got to say, like, I really appreciate that you guys come to the show and tune in and watch, and because you could be doing anything else, but instead you come here and watch me throw the ball up and down, and me and Len just bullshit about what's going on in the economy and Bitcoin, and it's great, man. It's therapeutic for us, and I hope it's good for you guys too. So yeah, we will see you. You already did Wednesday's show, right? It's just released on Wednesday. Okay.
Andreas Park. It's going to be released on Wednesday. The video and audio Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different because
tell people about this. I don't think you mentioned this last week. We talked about it off the air, but I want to hear what people think about this.
Well, he's a professor at University of Toronto, Rotman School of Business. And he I saw him first on Bloomberg talking about the modernization of the banking system, and they should employ blockchain technology in order to bring it to the next level. And he's not a Bitcoiner, so he does understand a little bit of technology, and he seems to be more of a fan of ETH too, because of Ether, because of the fact that it has some characteristics that are more banking like. But so I'm kind of in the camp. There's going to be some changes in the banking system. There's going to be some evolution, but I think that it doesn't stop there. Eventually, it's going to fail tremendously because of the sheer debt and so forth. So I think that's where we separated in terms of where we believe. But it was fun to chat with him, and it was just an interesting chat because again, he's kind of coming from a normie angle and academia. And so he's talking about the banking system. It's just interesting to just get an idea on how he thinks how strong it is, where the cracks are, where they could shore things up and stuff like that. Because the reality is, as much as we talk about banking failing eventually, at least for the foreseeable future, we're gonna have to deal with them.
You're stuck with it. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll be happy to chat with him again if he wants to. I don't think he walked away angry or anything. We didn't butt heads or anything. So
I'll be looking forward to hearing that. And yeah.
You know that who was the dean of the Rotman School of Business?
Carney?
Tiff.
No. Tiff, really?
Huh. Yeah, because we talked about Tiff, and then he brought up the fact, wow, like he kind of, there's a connection there.
Really? Yeah.
And yeah, Tiff, baby. If you want in, I'd love to chat with you, especially now. It'd be fucking amazing.
Tiff, I'd love to have you on. Yeah. Okay. God bless. We'll see you next time.
Take care and don't be a cock.